Ewan McGregor is an all-grown-up Danny Torrance, James Wan is bringing spiders back into our nightmares, and the Losers Club is complete. All on this week's Monster News. Before we dive into this week's disturbing news, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring that little bell to stay up to date on all things sea monsters. Ewan McGregor will star in Dr. Sleep, Warner Brothers' adaptation of the 2013 novel by, you guessed it, Stephen King. The novel is the author's follow-up to 1977's The Shining, which the studio adapted into the classic 1980 horror film directed by Stanley Kubrick and starring Jack Nicholson. McGregor will play the grown-up version of Jack Nicholson's son, who in the 1980 movie had psychic powers and watched his dad descend into a murderous rage. Dr. Sleep is being directed by Mike Flanagan, who previously adapted King's novel Gerald's Game for Netflix. We are just 4 months away from Blumhouse and Universal's Halloween sequel to John Carpenter's 1978 horror masterpiece, and this week brings us details of yet another sequel that might be following up this film. In an interview with the folks over at EW, Halloween co-writer Danny McBride and director David Gordon Green talked about how they almost shot 2 movies back-to-back. We were going to shoot 2 of them back-to-back. Then we were like, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. This could come out and everyone could hate us and we'd never work again. So let's not have to sit around for a year while we wait for another movie to come out that we know people aren't gonna like. So we were like, let's learn from this and see what works and what doesn't. But we definitely have an idea of where we would go with this branch of the story, hopefully, if we get a chance to do it. Before we get too excited at the idea of another sequel, let's wait for Blumhouse's other Halloween sequel to come out first. Deadline reports that Amblin and James Wan's Atomic Monster are planning a remake of the 1990s Steven Spielberg produced and Frank Marshall directed Arachnophobia. The classic horror comedy about a species of South American killer spider that takes over a small town in California starred Jeff Daniels and John Goodman in the original. Wan is expected to produce, but not direct the film. Filming begins next month for Andy Muschietti's It Chapter 2, and this week we've learned that the final member of the Losers Club has been cast. Shadowhunters star Isaiah Mustafa will play Mike Hanlon, the role played by Chosen Jacobs in the first film. You might also recognize Mustafa as the Old Spice guy. So what do you think of the club? Was there someone else that you really wanted to see as a loser? Let us know in the comments below. That's it for this week's Monster News. Be sure to check out our new trailer breakdowns, and this week we break down the Nun trailer.